exciting interactive exhibition. It's called Your Brain is a Garden. It's a sensory-rich experience that invites visitors of all ages to explore the fascinating parallels between nurturing a healthy garden and also promoting a thriving brain. And so through engaging displays, hand-on activities, guests will also learn how their brains flourish when given the right elements, including sunlight, which is exposure to positive stimuli, water, hydration and some emotional support, nourishment, good nutrition, as well as learning opportunities, and of course, playful exploration. Perhaps to chat a little bit more about this, we're joined by Dr. Dee Blackie. Good morning, Dr. Dee Blackie, and thank you for joining us here on this Sunday edition of Morning Live.
Thank you for having me.
Help us understand the conceptualization of the idea, comparing the garden to the brain.
Yes.
What you're hoping to impart through all of this. How's it been received as well?
It's been very positively received. Really, I work in neurodiversity, so I work with lots of different kinds of brains. And really, and we all have lots of different kinds of brains.
Sure.
And this is part of our sort of outreach as the Children's Memorial Institute to set this wonderful exhibition up at Kingsmead School and essentially try and teach people that their brains are gardens and they need to nurture and care for them just as you would a garden. And then I guess also to give them some information around that your brain, each of your brain lobes have lots of different functions and they all work together. And so it's really just interesting watching the children engage with the exhibition and see how they understand, well, this is my occipital lobe, this is about seeing and so on, and my sensory system.
Tell us about the feedback then you've received as a result of this from all ages.
I think I'm a medical anthropologist, which means I'm not the person who says this is what's wrong with you. I'm the person that understands how you experience something. And we're seeing such a rapid increase in neurodiversity around the world. Yeah. And essentially what a program like this allows you to do is to understand how your brain works and why your brain might show up slightly differently to somebody else's brain, which would then mean that you show up slightly differently to someone else's brain. So it's really about diversity and inclusion.
Modern challenges cannot be escaped, the overstimulation as well. So tell us a little bit more about what you're observing on that front, but also the need for play, emotional support, but also just that pause and space in between. How's it helping us to heal?
I started my work in child protection, and so I was dealing with children who are abused and neglected and exploited and so on. And obviously they show up very traumatized. Yeah. And what was really interesting was that then when I moved into neurodiversity, I was watching how children also experienced the world as traumatizing. But these were very well looked after children, they were loved, they were cared for. They just experienced the world as traumatic. It's too bright, it's too loud, it's too itchy, it's too scratchy, and for them to then just show up in the world is really tough. So these sensory spaces are able to actually help the children integrate their sensory systems and engage better with the world around them and the people in their space.
I wonder also if we're looking at the need for play. Do we play enough? And also, is this something that needs to be advocated for adults as well?
Completely. I mean, a lot of people, because we create all these exhibitions to try and engage with the public around issues like neurodiversity, people say, how do you come up with these ideas? And to be honest, I think my secret is I play a lot. And I think that we forget that, we've become so structured in our lives. We forget that allowing our brains to play, allowing ourselves to engage with lots of different stimulation actually helps us to be more creative, to be more observant, and to come up with new ideas.
No, absolutely. I'm also wondering about the different things we feed ourselves. It's not just mental stimulation, even food itself. Tell us a little bit more about that relationship. When you say brain, I think broccoli. So I'm assuming, is there something that's linked in that sense if we're going to add the garden
absolutely. Elements? They do say that a lot of your various organs, the fruits and vegetables that are good for them look a little bit like them. But absolutely, nutrition is absolutely crucial. So people often ask, well, where does neurodiversity come from? And the reality is that it comes from, it's very much genetic. It's very much, we've all got about 4 million, somebody living today has about 4 million ancestors. So those mixtures all come together and make different kinds of brains. But those genetic makeups are influenced by your environment. So it's the whole nature-nurture debate. And essentially, if you are not eating healthy food and you are not being well cared for, and you are in a traumatic environment all the time, you will start to find that your brain will react and respond to that. So we have a little saying in the sensory space around your brain is a garden, that because your brain is a garden, your thoughts are seeds, and you can decide if you want to grow flowers or if you want to grow weeds. So it's taking back control of our neurology and how we engage with the world.
What about the use of medication versus natural alternatives as well? We've also got these experiences that people undergo where they choose to, immerse themselves in more natural remedies. What are you observing on that front? Is that the way to go? Is there not enough science behind it?
So I'm a great believer in demedicalization, but not saying no to doctors. There's a huge role for clinical medicine, and there are a lot of people that really, really struggle with neurodiverse brains, and they do need the support because our world has changed. Children are far more anxious, they're far more stressed, they need an enormous amount of support. But we also need to be having these conversations at a lived space. So your lived experience of your world. And unfortunately, when we tend to make it all about medicine, we tend to take the responsibility away from the individual for their role in their maintaining their mental health and staying healthy and being able to engage positively. So in fact, what's amazing at the sensory space where we developed this garden idea is that it's where three sort of sides of medicine come together. You've got the clinical side, you've got the therapeutic side, and then my side is the humanities side. So how we engage with each other on a day-to-day basis and how we can ensure inclusion of different kinds of brains.
Dr. Dee, we're wrapping up. Where is this obviously going to be held and for how long as well?
So
how do people contact you?
Your Brain is a Garden is actually at Kingsmead College, and they can book online. And the sensory space is at the Children's Memorial Institute, just to come and see a little bit more about the work we do there.
All right, this morning, Dr. Dee Blackie chatting to us about Your Brain is a Garden, of course, that exhibition currently running at Kingsmead College. Again, thank you, Tiff, for joining us and for sharing the relationship between, the natural elements and our brain as well, how to better look after ourselves. We're obviously looking forward to how that's going to heal us and take us further.